All this time on, 20 years or so on, the story continues. Judith joins us in the studio now. Judith,
Hi.
good morning to you.
Good morning, good morning.
Judith, first of all, there's so many layers to this. I'm going to talk about Alan, first of all. Alan sadly passed away a few months ago.
Yeah,
and
December the 16th.
Yeah, and it's because of him that we're here talking about this today. And indeed, it's probably because of him, full stop. You, presumably, could have been living in secret, in private, with those two adopted girls, and no one would have known the difference.
I wouldn't be living in secret, because that wouldn't be a life, would it?
No, but what I mean is no one would have known your business.
I wouldn't have had the media attention, no.
Why did he go to the papers at the time?
I think Alan's wishes were for no one to fall foul of rogue agencies and to get caught up in what we were caught up in.
Yeah, which we'll explain in a moment.
Yeah.
Now, Alan had a dying wish.
Yes. He was in hospital for 11 months, was diagnosed with pulmonary fibrosis, which is a killer. There's no recovery. His dying wish was to come home, one of them, and the other one was to see the girls, to try to make contact. I don't think he actually realised he was dying, but it's harder for the people that do know than the person that doesn't know, isn't it, really, in a way? And it was all very sad, his passing. I think he thought he could beat it, but there was no recovery.
So his dying wish, you say, was to reconnect with the girls who you called Kimberly and Belinda.
Yes.
I believe they're living under different names now. You haven't seen them since they were taken
No, only
away
what I
from you.
saw in the papers, and the faces were pixelled out, so you couldn't really...
And have you ever tried looking for them?
I stayed out of their lives because I wanted them to have a stable upbringing, to reach the age of where they knew what was happening and they could make their own decisions. I'm not going to force myself on them. It's up to them. They can find me, or if they want to contact me, you know, I'd be willing and happy to meet them and talk about the past and what happened.
Yeah. And we're sort of telling this story a little bit back to front, but Alan, because of what you went through in adopting the girls or buying the girls, whatever way you want to put it.
No, didn't buy them because I dispute that. We paid an agency fee, so there was no money exchanged to Tranda. It went to the agency.
Yeah.
So.
That's not how the newspapers at the time interpreted it, of course. And the thing is, Judith, when Alan said, look, I'm going to tell this story to prevent this happening to other people, within a couple of days of the newspapers publishing that story and giving their judgments, the social services moved in. So explain to people what happened then.
Alan went to a certain paper. I was against going to the papers, but he in a man-like way, I suppose men think different, he was adamant that he wanted to prevent anything happening again like this. And I think from the papers, obviously, they want to sell papers, so they'll write what they want to write. Even if it isn't true, they'll still print it. And I think when Tony Blair got involved, that was it, you know. He was a bit like Iraq, isn't it? He had to be seen to be doing something, even if it's blundering in.
In the simplest form, for people that didn't know the story, you went to America, you used a reputable, you thought, agency, which is legal in America, to as a middle kind of agent to find a mother who wanted her children adopted.
Yes.
So you found a mother who had the twin girls.
Yes. And
you paid the agency, not her.
Yes.
How much money?
I think the agency charged about £8,000.
So as far as you and your husband were concerned, it was a legal transaction.
Yes.
And
Except she had already placed the children with someone else.
Yeah, we didn't know about the Allens. And in America, the law is different. You have a cooling-off period, so they can place the child with a couple, and I think it's something like 60 days. And on the 59th day, they could go and say, I've changed my mind, I want this child back. And there's nothing that you could do. It's a legal thing that they can change their mind. And she did change her mind.
She changed her mind, but then the Allens disputed that, and there was a
She lied to
court
the Allens.
case.
She told them she wanted them for the weekend, would bring them back. There wasn't a problem. The Allens said, OK. I don't suppose they were very happy, but they let them go for the weekend. And during that weekend, she placed them with us.
So here's the thing now. After all these years, and these girls have been repatriated and they're settled in another family, and they're in their 20s now. They're going to university or whatever, as far as we know. Do you think it's a good idea to make contact? Do you think they want to make contact with you?
Well, if they want to make contact, they can find me. I'm sure someone in America, as I say, my daughter's out there, someone will know where we are. Whether they know the whole story or bits of the story, I don't know. But if they want to make contact with me or give me an address, or a middleman can use it and put us in touch, I think they maybe want to get in touch. I'd want to know what happened. Instead of reading papers, get the truth and come to the people. Because I'd like to know what happened to the Allens. I don't know. I don't know what happened to anyone that was involved in the story. Only what's happened to me and Alan.
How difficult was it when they took those babies away from you?
Very difficult. There wasn't time really to say goodbye. There was nothing. It was just so quick and instant. And then they had the cheek to come back and ask me for my equipment to take them. Like, have you got hats? Have you got dummies? Have you got clothes? So I thought, well, take them then. Take the stuff if you want it, if you're desperate. So they did.
And after that, you have no idea where they went? Were they fostered, adopted?
I knew where they'd gone. I knew they were. A journalist told me exactly where they were. But I didn't go there because I thought it's stirring more trouble and they'd probably arrest me if I went there anyway. And what good would it do?
Well, what good would it do making contact with them now?
Well, they're older now, aren't they? They've got their own minds. I'm not saying come and live with me and be my best buddy, but if you want to know what happened to us and how it all worked out and why it all happened, maybe they'd want to
hear your side.
Hope so.
And if they have a judgment, give them a wave. And if they had a judgment about you, what would you like to say to them about you, Judith Sillett, as you are now, Judith Kilshaw then, and
I think
Alan?
I'll always be a Kilshaw, won't I, really?
Yeah.
And that's that. And there's nothing wrong with being a Kilshaw, is there?
And what would you say to them? What would you say to them? Did you love them? Did you grieve when they were taken away from you?
Yes, we did. I think it tore the family apart, basically. We'd made bedrooms out for them and clothes and toys and ponies and everything. They would have had everything and more.
Well, Judith, it's amazing talking to you again after all these years.
Yeah, looking rough around the edges. After the year I've had, I'm
you never know.
I'm
like you said,
sat
somebody who's watching this and they might get word might get to them.
Yeah, I hope so. And, you know, if you want to get in touch with me, find me, or I'll come and find you, and we can sit, talk, and go through the story and get the facts as they should be.
Judith, thank you very much indeed.
Thank
you very much.